What is good, YouTube? My name is Velikan. In this video we are going to take a look at the teleport relics for Leagues 5. So between three relics that we can choose from, we have Fairy's Flight. Upon choosing this relic, you will receive a Fairy Mushroom. This item will allow you to teleport to any Fairy Ring, Spirit Tree or Tool Leprechaun. Unlocking this relic will auto-complete the Tree Gnome Village quest. I think that's only so you can talk to Spirit Trees and teleport through them without having the Fairy Mushroom equipped. And this item ignores wilderness teleportation restrictions, which sounds very cool, but all three teleport relics have this. And of course, this item cannot be used to teleport you to an area that you have not unlocked. Same thing goes for all three relics, by the way. Bank Heist, giving you the Banker's Briefcase. This item will allow you to teleport to any deposit box, bank, or bank chest. Very cool. And then, of course, Clue Compass, the most talked about relic in this tier. Giving you the Clue Compass, this item will allow you to teleport to any stash unit, follow the bard respecting area unlocks, and it has the ability to teleport you to your current clue step if you have one. And this will not work on clue steps that require you to kill a certain NPC. Okay, so talk of the town is the Clue Relic. The first impression with everyone really is that the Clue Relic is extremely strong. So clues historically give a lot of points, so it seems like this is the strongest relic for points. Telling to a clue step sounds insane, it probably is. And one thing that is very interesting with the clue relic is that there is a stash in Shiloh Village Bank, allowing you to bank easily anyways, so it kind of disregards Bank Heist as a wanting to teleport to a bank, do your banking business, and then teleport back using maybe Total Recall. So Clue Relic allows you to do that as well. This immediately puts Clue Relic on top of the other relics. So that's something to keep in mind. Clue Relic is just valued so extremely highly, but there are some arguments to make for the other relics. So before we take a look at the other relics, there are also some cool stash teleports like Barrows, Dagonoth King's teleport, Pyramid Plunder, I think it's room 7. There's a stash unit there. Not sure if you can actually go there, but there is a stash unit there. Maybe the Clue Relic will take us there. And there's probably some more. I know there is one at the Soul Altar. So there's a couple of interesting teleports with the Clue Relic that you need to be aware of. What I very much advise you to do, because this depends completely on your area picks, is to go to the wiki and look for the Clue Compass Relic, and it will have an interactive map showing you where you can teleport with the Clue Relic. As for Bank Heist, Husky said something on the Discord that prompted me to take a better look at the Bank Heist map. He says, I think Bank Heist is definitely being underrated, not for access to a bank necessarily, but mostly, but because it's so many teleports and an abundant amount of teleports in almost every area, Fremennik aside. Okay, so I kind of agree with him. I took a look at the map. It seems to have better quality of life for moving around in most areas. There are some areas where you cannot make this case. For instance, if you go Fremennik, you're going to have to kill Dagonoth Kings at some point. Then Clue Compass, for me, like shoots up like a rocket in terms of value. So if you are not chasing points, meaning that you're not going to be doing a lot of clue tasks, right? So I think there's some tasks in the previous league. I'm not very sure if they're going to be in this league. Probably they are, where you have to complete an X amount of clues, or you have to like complete an X amount of collection log item slots from the clue page. That's where Clue Compass like is very strong. And then if you don't want to do all that stuff, you just want to PVM or whatever, you just want to get around in your areas, Bank Heist becomes a lot better. So it's better for non-point chasers, I would argue. Do not take this relic for banking plus recall shenanigans. You can do the same thing with Clue Relic. I already mentioned this, because there is a stash unit in the Shiloh Bank, so there's no point in doing that. And again, I would very much recommend everyone considering this relic to take a look at the wiki, look for the Bank Heist relic, and you will have an interactive map showing you all the teleports that you have. And of course, if you already know what areas you're going to be going to, then you might have some use there. And then Fairy's Flight. This one I actually immediately disregarded as useless, but There are some arguments to be made here. So as much as I liked it in Leagues 4, I think it's the weakest one now. Fairy Ring is usable for non-fairy flight pickers too. So if you want a fairy ring teleport, you can still use that. You just have to figure out which of the other relics or any teleport in the game really that puts you close to an existing fairy ring. The main argument seems to be farm runs, and that is interesting. Depending on your regions though, you may only have 2 to 4 herb patches available, so it's not going to be useful for everyone. And Overgrown and Friendly Forager, of course, destroys that argument, but if you turn that around, if you really do not want to go Overgrown and you do not want to go Friendly Forager, you might have an issue with your farming and your herb lore. In which case, Fairy's Flight might actually help you. I'm not making a case for everyone to pick Fairy's Flight. I don't think it's going to be like an insane, top 1% IQ pick. But you might find some use there, so keep that in mind. Also, Fairy's Flight puts you at the Grand Exchange through the Spirit Tree. But perhaps some other bank teleports, some closer bank teleports exist depending on your area. I did not take a look at every option here, so I don't have an exhaustive list for you. You're going to have to find it out yourself. But basically, the GE teleport puts you pretty close. Also, keep in mind, when you unlock jewelry, you might be able to get to banks easier anyway. Maybe like a dual ring to Ferox Enclave, or actually Ring of Wealth teleport to GE, I don't know. Anyway, the conclusion here is, for points, I immediately recommend Clue Chaser, assuming a lot of points are behind clue tasks, right? So that's for point chasers. For non-point chasers, I think the relic tier is legit hard to judge. I don't think it's like a high stakes decision for you to make. I think any of the 3 will be okay for you. So in that case, I kind of still recommend Clue Chaser. But Bank Heist seems to be a better, quote, way to get around, unquote, than Clue Compass does. So Bank Heist might be better there. That said, I do fear that the power of Bank Heist drops off after you gain some more teleports in your spellbook, POH, and perhaps jewelry. So keep that in mind. Farming and herb lore are usually a huge issue on Ironman. Depending on your areas, you might be, well, I don't know if you can get completely stuck with farming and herb lore, but usually it's a big problem. In which case, I would recommend going Overgrown and or Friendly Forager. But if you want to avoid those relics, let's say you really want a Grimoire, you really want dodgy deals or something like that. If you want to avoid Overgrown and you want to avoid Friendly Forager, in that case, you might want to consider Fairy's Flight, actually. It puts you close to a herb patch, allowing you to do your thing there. And Fairy's Flight actually has some merit. So I'm not sure if that's the play. I honestly don't know. I'm not some all-knowing entity, but that's basically the way I view things right now. And of course, I have to say this. It's so obvious. It depends on your regions. If you don't have herb patches, then you might have a problem anyway. So you need to go Friendly Forager in that case. Either way, if you're not going for points, there is no real bad pick. And I think that's the key takeaway here. If you are going for points, Clue Chaser jumps out, in my opinion. And that's that. Good luck picking a relic, guys. Thanks for watching.